Well, they both said hello as they went by. He was jogging with his dog. So it's the nice thing about being up here. I think I'd be even friendlier up at the beaches, but I was actually that's something I was thinking about with all this wet weather. This is probably not the time to put your house or your flat on the market. The real estate market looks really dead at the moment. There's bugger all new properties coming up, and I've seen a couple of places I'm interested in who have just been listed for over a month and no offers made yet, so which is quite encouraging for me. So maybe people are waiting for spring. It was just a mad rush before Christmas, but like I say, that could work to my favour. But putting my flat on the market with this sort of weather, I don't think it's a real smart move. But again, who can predict the weather? February could be quite fine, but traditionally this is the wet season, and it's living up to its name this year. But on that side, not so bad. It's looking to the west. Oh, it's not too bad on the east now. That was looking much grimmer, but now it seems to have cleared up. Oh, I'm glad I took the walk anyway. Feeling good about that. It's been way too long. So I'll have to, but as I say, the temperature is right down. That's the killer. When you've got really stinking hot temperature, it's pretty difficult to walk any distance, especially with having energy levels down a bit. So, but this has been good. Out the water there, quite a bit. The guttering just going here. Just missed the lights over there, so go down this way. Got plenty of time. There's quite a bit of water there. So yeah, it's had quite a drenching. There's the old liquor land, strategic place. I hope they've got some Jameson whiskey there. Well, I'm returning empty-handed again from finding Jameson's whiskey. I went to First Choice again. The area was empty, so they usually stock the 700ml bottle of Jameson's whiskey. So very disappointing when they got something on special like that. I checked the price at BWS. Laughable, they wanted $57 for the same product that First Choice is selling for $44, Liquorland selling for $45. So totally uncompetitive, BWS. But I would have at least had some whiskey, but I haven't got anything at the moment. So I might end up going to Murphy's. I think it might be my last chance. At least they'll have stuff in stock. And if nothing else, I can buy some cheap beer there. So I've had a gutful of trying to get the First Choice special. It's just not on. Hallelujah, it's not raining today. Look at that, there's some actual clear sky. And a noisy bird. Not as noisy as the cockatoos that tend to chirp up about between 5 and 6. They're bloody noisy bastards. Now, heading off to Office Works, just up the road here, past A-Mart, and I've got to get a couple of items scanned. My El Cheapo printer died on me a while back, but it still kept scanning, but now it's not even doing that, so it's just basically needs to be thrown in the bin. Only cost me $40. El Cheapo picks them up. Canon printer. It's not worth my while buying another printer. I so rarely use it. It's better to go to Office Works, especially seeing they're so close. Of course, that won't be the case if I actually finally get to move to the beaches, but that's okay. I can live with that. What I need to get is a couple of ID documents scanned, specifically my date of my birth certificate and and my credit card. So I need 2 items of ID. What social security, social security card, I'm going back a bit, I used to work for them years ago. Centrelink require you to provide 3 forms of ID if you don't have, say, a driver's license. So I've got to supply my passport, which I already have an electronic version of that scanned in. and plus the birth certificate, plus another piece of ID such as the credit card. So it makes you wonder though how much information the government's getting about me. I mean, that's a lot of important information they have at their fingertips, and can you trust them to look after that information? I don't know. I'm not a super trusting person when it comes to the government, but I did go on their medical list because they have a medical history list that you can sign on to. That happened a while back and I decided to decline. I think we've got way too much information is in the hands of the government already about individuals. And when you see it being abused by the likes of big tech and corporations over in the States, it makes you think that it can be used quite easily, it can be weaponized against individuals just because they may not agree with political views. We are so much creeping towards a 1984 situation at the moment. You have to be very vigilant. And I think the COVID thing has made civil liberties, has put it on the back burner. So a lot of former Conservative voters, say in the Queensland election for instance, I think they ended up voting Labor because they wanted strict border controls. So as you get older, you get more conservative, you get less you become more risk averse as you get older too. That's been found in studies, and it makes sense. But I don't agree with that. I'm sort of probably more risk averse to some degree, but I still don't agree with all that stuff. So, and I think the COVID thing's been. Oh, by the way, I want to give myself a shout out too regarding the what I said about the what Sandy for Sweden, Stefan Sandy for Sweden refers to as the Vaseline, as a euphemism for the name of the actual medication. Getting shots in the arm against COVID, and in Norway they did it to people who were elderly, and guess what? A lot of those people ended up dying because of it, because they couldn't handle it. And that's exactly what I said about the policy of the Australian government of initially vaccinating the elderly and vulnerable, which unfortunately I come into both of those categories at the moment. Probably not the elderly to a huge extent, but just partially. But I have other respiratory issues, so I'm a high risk person, and I'll be buggered if I want someone jabbing me in the arm with a medication that hasn't gone through the proper trial process. And I did warn people about that, and guess what? In Norway, they paid the consequence. So I'm not a total bill. I might look like one, but I actually do have some neurons still firing in the old cranium. I got the scans done okay. All went fairly smoothly. It took a little bit of tweaking, but just had 2 documents to scan. It was cheaper than they quoted online. It must have been maybe quoting a price to get one of the staff to do a scan for you. That's all I can figure, because it's supposed to be 40 cents and you end up being about 23. So I'm sure what's that? Actually, motorists actually let me get through. Yeah, got a little bit of help from a local next to me. So yeah, it was good. Worked out well. It's busy. It's always busy at Office Works, but there were a couple of machines available, so it was good. Now the most important part of the day, I'm going to see if there's any Jameson whiskey at Liquorland. Seeing them in the area, I might as well pop into the supermarket and then Liquorland. So yeah, energy levels are down. I'm feeling a little pooped already. It's crazy. Hardly walked any distance. But just could take it easy. I did a lot more walking yesterday. Surprised I actually was alright with it. Mind you, I slept for quite a bit when I got home. So yeah, like I said, I've got a bit of recovery time I think ahead of me. Well, the good news is I finally got myself a bottle of Jameson's whiskey. Bad news is, arseholes at Liquorland, at Coles, they put up the price during the actual special week. Its specials run from Wednesday through to Tuesday, and Coles has decided to, or Liquorland, to bump the price up to $47 a bottle in the last couple of days. That really sucks. I mean, normally their specials go through the whole week, but they've decided to basically gouge us. And I'm wondering if it's just FNQ that they're gouging, because I know there were some difficulties getting stock in because of the floods. Maybe they had to pay more for freight, but it's just bad form. I mean, surely they could have worn that cost rather than putting people offside. So I'll send them a message. Well, at least I got the main things done and I want to get done going down the street. I've got to get some insect spray for cockroaches. I looked it up, and yeah, Cairns is quite prone to getting cockroaches, and I've had a few in my place. And the funny thing is that they actually seem to wise up, because in the past they've got it right out in the open spaces of the lounge room, and then I've been able to zap them with a shoe and crush them. But now they're smarter, they're more nimble with their movements, and they move very quickly for cover as soon as I make a move towards them. So there is a rudimentary intelligence amongst the oh god, hoons, bloody hoonmobiles. Cockroaches do have a rudimentary intelligence, probably higher than the guy driving that car. The kids in the creche are particularly noisy today. It's sort of Lord of the Flies mode they've been switched to, and also the builders are using their saws, their buzz saws, early morning to do carpentry. They're still working on that office. I'll be very happy to get away from the flat. It's not an ideal place to live, that's for sure. Far more cons than pros for me right now. Yes, amazing, no rain. And the good thing is there isn't that much sun, so I won't suffer too much. It'll probably take a day or so to heat up to where it's been, so a little easier to handle. Oh, the thing about America with the Democrats too, do you know that they've actually outlawed certain pronouns like he and she? I think those type of pronouns are not allowed anymore in Congress. That's how out of touch these idiots in politics in the US are compared to average people, because people hate wokeness, and they just don't seem to get it, the Dems. But again, they're moving towards a one-party state. In effect, you'll have a socialist state in America, because the elections cannot be trusted now, the electoral process. Once that institution is undermined, then I think people might resort to more guerrilla tactics. That's why I think a secession's a good idea, because it will avoid one, civil war, which no one really wants, and secondly, maybe people conducting a terror campaign with things like bombings. Apparently there was a bomb taken by one of the riders with the Capitol Hill invasion that took place just recently. It looks as though Biden's inauguration is not going to be like a normal one, because basically there's too many security threats. Knowing him, he'll probably just go online. It's pathetic. The guy doesn't campaign. He's going to be an online president by the looks of things, and stuck in his bunker, speaking incoherently, with his second in command being an absolute authoritarian, Kamala Harris. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever, and either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.